You may be interested in studying animal behavior. To understand animal behavior, you first have to start with understanding evolution. You may have learned that natural selection controls the evolution of certain traits that benefit the animal in its habitat. Natural selection also drives the evolution of animal behaviors. What's important is to find out whether the behavior helps the animal survive or helps it to reproduce. In this video, we're going to investigate two specific types of animal behaviors. Mutualism is a type of behavior that benefits both of the animals involved. Competition is a type of behavior that is harmful to both animals. Let's start by looking at mutualism. Mutualism is a type of behavior that benefits both organisms. We're going to designate this as a +1+1 interaction, since each animal gets a benefit. Mutualism is most likely to happen between members of the same species, especially closely related individuals. When the interaction is in members of the same species, we call it intraspecific. Wolf packs are an example of mutualism. The wolves survive much better in a pack because they are able to hunt together and take down larger prey animals. A lone wolf is more likely to hunt small animals and is less likely to be successful. So even though a lone wolf does not have to share its meal, it's less likely to get a meal at all. Other examples of intraspecific mutualism would be social insects such as bees and ants. In bees and ants, only the queen gets to reproduce. However, all of the other workers are very closely related to the queen. In fact, they're her sisters. So this type of interaction has evolved due to something called kin selection. In kin selection, the members of the species have evolved the behavior because they're helping other members of their family survive and reproduce and pass on their genes. There are also examples of mutualism that happen between members of different species. These are called interspecific. An interspecific example is the cleaner fish. The cleaner fish is a type of fish that cleans off parasites from fish in the ocean, including predators like sharks. The sharks do not harm the cleaner fish because they benefit from having the parasites cleaned off of their skin. The cleaner fish benefits because it gets a meal. There are also special types of cleaner fish and even cleaner shrimp that will clean the teeth of other predator fish in the ocean. Now let's take a look at competition. You may think that competition should be a +1-1 interaction because there's clearly one winner and one loser. However, this is not the case. While when you compete with friends over things like sports or even academics, you may feel like there's a winner. However, in the wild, even the winner is a loser. Why is that? That's because the competition itself can be harmful. It could lead to injury or even death of the individual, including the winner. Even if the winner does not come to physical harm, they have lost time and energy through the competition. This is time and energy they could have used for something else. So the best type of competition is no competition at all. For this reason, we call competition a -1-1 interaction. Now, what do animals compete for? They compete for things that they need to survive, such as food and water, and shelter and territory. But they also have to compete for things that will help them to reproduce, especially mates. One type of intraspecific competition is competition between male lions. Lions live in prides, where there's usually one male, a number of females, and their cubs. The male lion will protect his territory. He will fight any other males that come into the territory, even to the death. This type of competition is clearly very dangerous for the lion. Because intraspecific competition can be very dangerous, in many animals they will not fight to the death. Instead, the animals will use displays. The displays are used to show which animal is the stronger one. Once it's been established which one is stronger, the other one will run away. This helps reduce the chance of injury or even death to the individual. Interspecific competition will happen when animals of different species want the same resources. Lions, cheetahs, and hyenas all live in the savannas of Africa. They, in general, like to hunt similar prey. Lions are clearly the strongest of these three. For this reason, hyenas and cheetahs will try to avoid direct competition with the lion and will not attempt to fight it. Instead, If a cheetah sees a lion coming, it will probably run away. Meanwhile, the hyena will just slink around and wait for the lion to leave before attempting to eat the same food. So even though they live in similar areas, their exact behavior has been modified to try to avoid competition whenever possible. The last type of competition is a very specific one. It's sexual selection, which is how you get mates. There are two main strategies for getting mates. Either the males will fight other males to win the rights to the female, or the males will try to attract the female. Deer are an example that will fight each other to try to win the female. Sea lions also do this, but in most cases the deer and the sea lions will use more of the display that I mentioned before as opposed to fighting to the death. Birds have a very different strategy. Instead of trying to fight each other, they try to woo the female. Songbirds do this by singing beautiful songs. Other birds might try to build a nest to try to attract a female, such as the bowerbird. And finally, most male birds are very beautiful. They have colorful plumage and try to attract the female with dances and displays of their tails and wings. One example is the peacock. Not only is his tail huge, it actually costs him as well. It's very difficult for him to run away from predators, and in fact, he can barely fly.